Let's take a look at some of the different centering techniques available to us through CSS. Centering can sometimes be difficult with elements because of the way that the browser renders things. This is especially apparent in vertical centering. Let's first take a look at simple text centering. I'll create a paragraph tag with some placeholder text and center the text on the page. Now that I've created this paragraph, let's load this up in the browser and see what it looks like. By default, text is aligned to the left, so let's change this alignment using CSS. In my CSS file, add a rule set for paragraph tags and set the text align property to center. Refreshing my page shows that the content is now center aligned. This works best with inline elements. So let's look at an example where we have some inline block elements that will center on the screen. Let's pretend that we're creating a main navigation. Here I've created a div with a class of navigation, filled it with a UL that contains 3 navigation items. Our page looks like this. Next, I'll do some styling changes to make the navigation items appear side by side. First, I'll set the list style type to none. And I'll remove all padding and margin from the UL. Next, I'll set the LIs to be display inline block. Now our navigation items sit side by side. I'll add a little padding and an underline so that we can see these separated. I've added a little bit of padding, a little margin, and a small border bottom to each item. Our navigation is looking pretty nice, but now let's try and get this centered. I'll target my navigation item and set the text align to center. Refreshing the page will move these items to the center of the page. As I scale it, they'll attempt to stay centered on the page. This type of centering is useful for inline elements, but let's say that we have a block level element that we want centered on the page. We can use a special technique using margin as long as we know the width of the content.